OK, so what is Greg's choice?
People who give their dogs specific instructions.
That old chestnut.
I just think a dog is of limited intelligence. It's well established, and there's an argument about whether they're sentient beings or not, whether they have any awareness of self. I can't be bothered to get into that argument, but they're dogs, OK? There are people in my local park who are having full conversations with their dogs. They're going, oh, Coco, don't mess around in that bush. And I think Coco doesn't know he's in a bush. Coco has no concept of what a bush is. Coco is just trying to smell other dogs' wee and try and find something to eat or have sex with. There's a woman in my park who walks about 5 dogs and she's going, oh, Lulu, don't play with Coco's stick, that's his stick. Coco has some concept of ownership. And it wasn't his stick anyway. I saw him, he picked it up in the park. And the same can be applied, while I'm on the subject, to toddlers. I don't... I've heard mothers in West London talking to 2-year-olds going, no, don't play with that bowl because you're going to spill food on the floor and someone's going to have to come and clean that up. And the toddler's going, because all they've got a concept of is there's something they can ram in their mouth. They have no concept of the expert. I'm genuinely furious.
That's winding up Diane.
Magicians. I think they're quite needy people, generally. Whenever I watch them, I'm never entertained.
That's quite a negative review.
Isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't... There was one that I went to a restaurant and there was one that was going between the tables, between courses, and showing you a card trick. And then he'd finish the card trick and he'd wait. And you can't just go... You've got to go, oh, that was good. How did you do that? So you feel like they're getting more out of this than you are. I think it starts with parents giving kids magic sets. Because if you give a kid a magic set, that's like a starter kit for a psychopath, isn't it?
I never had a magic kit, I must admit. Is it a common gift for children?
For psychopaths, yeah.
OK.
It's so boring. It's like cups and balls. Who cares? Pulling flags out your sleeve. I just can't find any enthusiasm for it.
So, what's upsetting Richard?
Audiences cheering. I mean, that could be enough. But audiences cheering at the name of the town in which they reside. I just don't see why you need to emit that sound. I mean, I'm from Ipswich, so obviously I can't emit joy. So it seems very strange to me. I've never understood it. You say Hull. It seems odd. I don't know what I'm meant to do with that information. Are you happy about Hull? You're happy. OK.
I think it's a form of missionary work, isn't it?
OK.
It's that man saying, you probably think it's terrible coming from Hull, but in fact it's...
Right.
Hey!
OK.
I think that's he's selling Hull as a concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a long pitch for Hull. It makes me feel like everyone's been hypnotised. And someone said, when your town's name is mentioned, obviously you'll have to go, hey! And someone's gone, and they've never been snapped back out of it.
So, what about James's choice? The shot put. I realise now I actually misread your choice. You can't not like the shot put, can you?
Oh, I can. Who here is a fan of the shot put? One guy. And he's a liar. Right, here's the problem. At the Olympics, everyone does their stuff and it's amazing, and you're seeing people doing things, you go, I couldn't do that, it looks incredible. The shot put, it just looks rubbish. They throw it, and literally he's here, and he throws it, and it lands there. And I know it's heavy, but I've never held a shot put, so I don't know how heavy it actually is. So I don't know context for it. So all I'm doing on TV is watching someone throw a ball a little way. That is it.
There's a certain method, though. You have to hold it tight to your chin and straighten the arm.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
How's that fun?
The Berlin 1938 Olympics got a big cheer every time. What sort of people make Henning Wehn angry?
Oh, dear God. Nah, come on, they're my lot. I can make fun about them. I suggest we abolish the monarchy because I feel, well, I feel so sorry for all the members of the royal family. Why? No, well, because, you know, life is about bettering yourself. But when you're born into the royal family, how are they going to better themselves? And here's everything. OK, then. So now he mentioned William and Harry born into a regular family. I mean, you could easily see Harry getting a job at a garage and William... I mean, who is to say William couldn't make it up into middle management in a recruitment company? Let's abolish the monarchy and give them an opportunity of upward social mobility.
As we all know, they are essentially German, the British monarchy.
Well, not all Germans are good people.
Even the Duke of Edinburgh, his family name is Schleswig-Holstein Sonderburg Glucksberg. Everybody's talking about pop music.
So have you met them? Any of them?
You would think they invite me round for tea, but no, I've never met them.
Because there
Have
is...
you, Michael?
Well, once or twice.
What is Catherine's choice?
DJs. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is DJs that join in at the end of the song. I mean, I love the radio. I've not listened to your show on the radio because it's too early, but I love the radio in the morning.
It's a podcast. But carry on.
So I love the radio in the morning, and, you know, you're listening to a song, they've played maybe, you know, Elvis in the Ghetto or something really moving, a storytelling song. You're in that special place, looking out the window at the morning happening. And then they just have to crash in and butcher it over the last 2 bars because they can't not hear the sound of their own voice for more than 20 seconds. I have actually almost lifted up the radio and thrown it through the kitchen window because it completely destroys. What's the point in playing a song if you're not going to let people get to the nice moment at the end when the song has finished and done its work?
Yes.
Do you do this? Am I putting you into Room 101?
I don't do it that much.
Oh,
I
didn't realise you did it.
I don't do it off. I interrupt it. I played Vertigo by U2 a while back, and in the middle of it, I came in and started talking.
In the middle? That's even worse.
Yes, because they had interrupted my iTunes music with their album. They started it. Okay, so, to Frankie.
Celebrity atheist. I am an atheist, but I don't like celebrity atheists. I was a very bad Catholic, unless you include my attitude to condoms, in which case I was an amazing Catholic. But I don't like the judgmental nature of celebrity atheists. I think some religions have done good things. The Quakers fought against the Vietnam War. liberation theology in Central America. Those people all got killed standing up for poor people. And what's the reward? To be looked down on by Ricky Gervais. I don't need Ricky Gervais to tell me that God doesn't exist when I watch Derek get recommissioned twice. I just sort of think, you know, we all need something to get through, you know, and why stand in judgment on what other people need? So Ricky Gervais or Richard Dawkins, whoever, they need retweets or whatever they need, and other people need different things. I just feel the whole thing's a bit religious, you know. So it's the idea of certainty to me is very religious. The idea of judgment is very religious, and it's blaming God, it's blaming religion. You know, they go, religion causes violence. Okay, some violence is caused by religion. Some violence is caused by lager. Some violence is caused by people cheating at pool. But at the moment when you go, I'm blaming that on God, that's like you don't get any mayonnaise in your chicken zinger and you blame it on Colonel Sanders.
I can sense Nicola here thinking, what's wrong with violence all of a sudden? Okay, what doesn't Lee like about television?
Top Gear. Let's put this to bed straight away. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone in the world when I say cars are boring. Full stop. They're not interesting. And even the producers, I think, of the show know that that's true, because what they talk about is never the reality of cars, our world of cars. It's that fake reality of things like, today we're going to talk about off-road vehicles. Am I the only person in the world that's never driven off a road?
I've gone off, but in a normal car.
Yeah.
In Notting Hill. I see those women, and I just
I'm not talking
swerve.
about your heavy drinking days, really. I'm talking about... Yeah, it's the language. The language that doesn't have anything to do with my experience of driving, you know. You know, you'll hear them say things like, you know, if I talked about the new suspension on the Audi 6149, you'd say, but what about the torque? I don't know, I wouldn't.
Lee, can I just say...
I'd say, where's the cup holder? Because that's the only thing. If it's on the right, good design. If it's on the left, it's a bad design because I'm right-handed. That's it. Anything else?
I know nothing about cars at all. I drive a grey one. And I've never seen Top Gear, because I have no interest in cars. Obviously, I haven't watched it. And so I watched a few episodes. I've got to say, I really liked it. It reminded me of... I played cricket once with Jeffrey Archer, and he was a really nice bloke. I was gutted. What do you drive, then?
Well, as it happens, I drive a 1966 Triumph TR4A IRS, but that's not the point. The point is... But it's not the point, is it? Because...
Oh, you know, that's not true, is it?
No, it is, yeah. But I'd like to point out, because I know nothing about cars, but it's an old 1960s classic car, and I love the look of it. It's a beautiful... I can definitely appreciate...
Oh, God, it's going on now.
I can appreciate the beauty of a car without wanting to see a programme about it.
Here's the thing. This is a picture of Jeremy Clarkson in a small car. Now, that's funny, isn't it?
I won't have a word said against this man. Once I had him on a talk show, and my husband said, whatever you do, don't ask him for a free car. Before he actually hit the leather. I said, Jeremy, can you fix me up with a free car? Anyway, he did about 10 years ago, and I've still been using his name.
He got you a free car?
He got me a deal. I can't say with who.
No.
But so I have to say Jaguar as much as I can.
But would you love it more if it did more classics?
Yeah, I would, because classics look nice. All modern cars look roughly the same, don't they? Roughly.
Oh, no,
think
not
yes.
a Jaguar.
No, they...
Jaguar.
If you're going to promote them, at least learn to say it properly.
How am I saying
Jaguar. 3 syllables over here.
Yeah. You say
You're saying Jaguar.
Okay. I don't have time to say that, okay?
This is starting to look like a really bad episode of Top Gear.
I'll tell you what, if he gave her the glasses with that T-shirt, it'd be a really bad episode of Where's Wally?
What's Russell's choice?
Grumpy Kids. Exactly, right?
I was in a restaurant the other day and I heard a child say, "Oh, Wagamama again." I used to lose my mind when I went to a Harvester. Lose my mind. Go into school the next day, salad bar, amazing. Like, I had an Italian dish called a lasagna. I've got everything. They're whining. They've got wheels in their shoes. iPads. Sky Plus. If you'd have shown me Sky Plus when I was 10, I'd have thought you were a wizard. Like that, causing telly. And, like, could have been so much worse to just... Every kid I seem to do, like, I'm talking about 10-year-olds, just whining, tubby messes. And... it just does my head in. But it could have been worse. Could have grown up in the 80s, where, you know, the telly was awash with offenders, and, it was, And, like, think of the hours we played the recorder. The hours we did that. Have we ever needed it? And I've never been at a party, and I know what this needs. Girls in the corner. Do you know Little Donkey? You know I do.
We have a picture of you when you were, I think, 12-year-old.
Oh, really?
Russell.
OK. Oh, there you go.
Happy child.
Well, I haven't seen that for a long time. I look a bit like Harry Potter's German pen pal. Who would have thought that when I sat for that picture, it would end up on telly and people would just be like...
I know. Yeah, just
smile. What's the worst that could happen? All right.
When I was at school, the big game for us was a thing called pile-ups, where one kid lay on the floor and 50 kids lay on top. You'd be on the bottom thinking, shouldn't my ribcage be inside my blazer? I feel a bit sorry for kids now, though. I live in quite a sort of a posh bit of London, and I think the kids there just don't get enough sugar. You know, they ask for a cornetto, they get a little box of raisins. That's not parenting.
Well, exactly. I remember, like, remember Angel Delight now? There's a pudding.
Yes.
Have one bite of that, you know, I'm going on the roof! My sister, it's one of the greatest moments in the Howard family. My sister's eating Angel Delight. She goes, "Dad, what's Angel Delight made of?" And my dad just went, "Dead angels." That's parenting. Me and my brother are like, this is the best day ever.
What's Noel's choice?
Spiders.
Oh, that's... It was like they had a debate first. Shall we applaud?
Whole gamut of emotions.
Yeah. So why? Why spiders?
Well, I recently went to Australia and that was a whole nother ball game. I mean, I'm frightened of spiders here, but in Australia, they are massive. I mean, literally, one picked me up at the airport. In a taxi.
It's still on your head.
Quite good when we got to the hotel, though, because he picked up all my bags.
But, I mean, they're properly dangerous in Australia as well.
Yeah,
so
well, they can kill you. You know, like here in England, the thing is, in England, you do the sort of postcard cup technique, you know, you try and trap. In Australia, there was one this is a true story, me and my brother were sharing a hotel, doing a bush tour, and there was a huntsman, it's called, and it literally was this big, right, on the wall. So we couldn't even get it in a mug. I had to go to the kitchen and get a mixing bowl, yeah? And we had to use an album. I used Abbey Road, right? This is a true story. And because mixing bowls, they're see-through, they're sort of magnifying. So it was that big anyway. When I put the mixing bowl, its head was bigger than mine. I could see its cheekbones. It was awful. And so I slid the album underneath it and took it outside and I put it out. And it didn't even just go in the bushes. It walked down the sidewalk like a man. Like a man would. It just went off. Crossed the zebra crossing. Must have got the idea from Abbey Road.
OK, Bridget, what's your choice?
Babies. All right, calm down.
Yeah, the Kardashians have babies, you know. You didn't mind those going in the room.
Well, OK, so obviously they're very cute. If they weren't cute, the human race would have died out a long time ago because early humans would have gone, OK, I've done 3 days now, I'm out. That's enough. I just think they're overrated. I think that they contribute the least to society, that they are the most worshipped and revered people on earth.
After the Kardashians.
They create chaos. If you replaced any of us with a baby, there would be chaos. Or a pilot, or a bus driver, or...
You can't argue with that. Rasheen, like, about modern life. Me.
Selfies.
Yes.
Selfie is a word used for people who take photos of themselves relentlessly and put them online. I don't mind a selfie where people sort of look ridiculous, but the sort of vain, like that, that's fine. But the sort of need people have to sort of document their own existence to the point now they just take photos of themselves looking nice, and sort of you have lots of young teenage girls sort of putting that face, doing that. And you know what's really upsetting is these people have got like 5,000 followers on Twitter and yet no one to take a photo of them. It's like, at least have the decency to hide your own arm. So it looks like you were with someone and someone else thought your dress was nice enough to photo.
If you can actually crop the pictures
Totally.
and get your
it's
arm
the lack of
off.
intelligence that upsets me the most about selfies.
Even, you know that famous Van Gogh self-portrait? That was, if you actually looked at the original version of that, that was actually a selfie. Are you familiar with hot dogs or legs?
Sorry?
Hot dogs or legs. It's a selfie-based phenomenon. And so what you have to do, people take a photo of themselves, maybe, and you have to guess whether it is their legs or whether it's hot dogs. Here, let me show you an example. It's tricky, isn't it? I'll show you another one. You'll get this one. What do you think?
Hot dogs.
Yes, I think they've used the napkin to try and create a skirt.
Yeah, went too far.
To fool us. This last one, really, this confuses me. I think that that's a leg and a hot dog. Because that
leg
one,
on the left, isn't it?
That one on the right, you don't get a thigh bone that bends in like that normally.
I think that's legs.
I think that's legs.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can I just genuinely say, why are we doing the rest of the show? Can we not just do this for half an hour?
I sort of use selfies in order to send messages. So I've got a few examples that I use. I'm sorry I'm running late. Thanks for dinner. And I haven't actually used this one yet, but I've got it in waiting. Here it is. This is, I'm having a heart attack. They've saved me a hell of a lot of time, I must say. What about Aisling's choice?
Pigeons.
Frankly, Frank, I've had enough of these disease-riddled rats of the sky. Yes, thank you. Bit of solidarity there. We've just let them roam around, owning the streets of our cities for far too long, and I don't know why. What do? They're obsolete now. Everyone sends text messages, unlike back in the old days when you used to attach, a bit of paper to their legs. And I think that's what it is. I think that's why British people let them stay around so long, is because of all the hard work they did during the war. But, you don't see other veterans going around Trafalgar Square pooing on the monument. So I don't see why we should allow pigeons. And, they just there's an arrogance about them. They're like the aggressive sort of man in a pub being like, no, you move. They're like, I just don't like them anymore.
First of all, they are, I think, an important source of exercise for toddlers. I have a 3-year-old, he will chase a pigeon 1.5 miles. He'll run so far, he'll vomit, and then, of course, the pigeon will sort that out. He's upsetting Romesh.
New Year's Eve.
I think it's such an unacceptable day of the year. You know, the fact that you're sort of put under pressure to celebrate it. You know, everyone's sort of geeing up, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? What are you doing for New Year's Eve? And the thing is, it's the wrong time of the year. I know it's supposed to be at the end of the year, and that's OK, but it's just after Christmas. And then people are saying, when do you want to... What are we doing? Where are we meeting up? Well, I've literally spent Christmas period seeing you. Why would I want to see you again so soon after? It needs to be in the middle, like June, July, so we get a 6-month break. Not we're all hanging out, and then a few days later, here we are again. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? And then it's just sort of the whole thing about the whole idea of New Year's Eve, people getting ready with resolutions and stuff like that. I find resolutions, they should be banned. Because, like, my mum's New Year's resolution was to see me more. No, thank you. It's in complete and direct opposition to what I want to do now.
So what doesn't Alexander like about food and drink?
Yes, these are unnecessary cocktail ingredients. Now, I'd just be perfectly plain at this point. I have nothing against cocktails, per se. I think cocktails are marvellous. They're racy, they're fun, they're brightly coloured, they're exotic, they're delicious. They are, let's face it, the perfect way to introduce children to alcohol, which is... I think, actually, there's one thing is wrong with cocktails, and that's when you're standing at a pub behind somebody who asks for 4 mojitos. And you know that you're going to be waiting there for half an hour while some sweaty man in an apron picks up some bar truncheon and starts mashing bits of herb with it. Have you ever...
When I next hear someone ask for a brandy Alexander, I shall watch with interest what they're going to get, won't you?
Truly, Henry, you are the voice of the people.
No, I think the cocktail I'm particularly talking about is the one... they're cocktails you make at home, Bloody Mary. The list of Bloody Mary ingredients just gets longer and longer for every year it exists because it's a drink made by hungover people, and hungover people just can never make up their minds what it is they want. They know that something's going to make them better. What they don't realise is that thing is time.
Let's see what Ronnie doesn't like about going out.
Yes. Small talk at parties. Those kind of endless, sort of meaningless but polite conversations that you have to go through when you meet somebody that you don't know at a party, and I'm not very good at it. There normally are things like, there's usually one oh, where do you live? Oh, I live in Peckham. Oh, I know Peckham. Whereabouts? Oh, near the Sainsbury's. Oh, which one? Because there are 2. Yeah. Well, you know the Duke of Devonshire pub? Oh, yes, I know, because a friend of mine, her cousin used to live round there. Yeah, well, I'm not there. I'm Meredith Road. No, I don't know that. I mean, it's not that I don't love people, don't get me wrong. It's just that life is too short. You just kind of sort of want to jump in with, you know, where do you stand on Nigel Farage? On his windpipe, preferably.
I always used to start by saying nice shoes if I was talking to a woman.
I might write that down. That's quite good, actually.
Nice shoes. Unfortunately, they couldn't hear me. I was on the floor. Usually in a pool of my own vomit. But, you know, different times. I'll tell you, do you ever get that thing when you're talking to someone and they're looking over your shoulder to see if there's anyone more interested?
Yeah. Ever since I've been married, that's happened.
I wear this for such occasions. And then they can't see over my shoulders.
Brilliant.
And the great thing about this is if they turn out to be a bit on the boring side, you can do this and. OK, let's have a look at Sam's choice.
Holding hands.
What? Oh. No, I'll give you an example.
example. I'll give you an example. Okay, no, wait. Just wait. This is good. Okay, the example is, okay, you know when you're walking down a very narrow footpath and you see, like, a loved-up couple walking towards you holding hands, okay? Now, a decision has to be made as to who's going to stand in the gutter of despair and loneliness, okay? Why should I be standing in the gutter of despair and loneliness whilst you're walking past me with your bloody love? Yeah? And if I was a single man of one, you look at them and you're thinking, well, you know what, they've got a double disposable income, so they're making more money than me as well. Like, my wife's just gone back to Australia. I went to Tesco the other day to buy myself, like, all the ingredients for Matriciana pasta. Cost me £42. You can at least give me a little bit of concrete. No? Like, the only thing for holding hands for me, okay, is like, if you're a little boy and you need to cross the street, you hold hands. If you're a little old lady, you need help across the street, you hold hands. So you do it on the way in and you do it on the way out.
It's interesting you say that because I used to hold hands with my partner quite regularly. And I've noticed since I've gone grey, we don't hold hands. Because it looks like I'm being helped.
Actually, I love seeing an older couple holding hands. There's nothing sweeter than this little old grey-haired couple sort of tottering.
Yeah, they're on the way out. It's fine.
What doesn't Tim like about modern life?
Well, I can explain what's happening here. What I don't like about modern life, which I think is now exacerbated by the amount of prank shows there are on television nowadays, is the phrase, only joking. This phrase apparently means you can do anything, as long as you then say, only joking afterwards, and then everything's all right. This is an example of a physical thing that can happen. Here I am, this is me here, and I'm quite slim there, and I've got a napkin. I was playing tennis with a napkin. I said, don't serve yet. Anyway, I'm sitting having a lovely meal, and this person here, he's pulled the chair away. I've fallen down, probably hurt my vertebrae, and he has gone, with the red nose there just to sort of underline it, he's gone, only joking, and that's apparently... And I have to go, oh, right, OK. But that's not a joke. A joke is, I went on a date with a girl called Simile, I don't know what I met her for.
Also, there's no only about joking, is there? Joking is quite a difficult craft. People should say I'm only being serious, because anybody can do that.
Well, you're right.
Your brother does serious television. You could go and do his job tomorrow. Could he do yours? No. In case you don't know, Tim's brother is Sir Trevor McDonald. OK, what aspect of nature winds up Josh?
We're all quite scared now. It's the only thing more controversial than Lord of the Rings. No, this is the home of nature and the great outdoors, and it is Devon.
OK.
Which is where I am from, so this is OK.
Right.
I think Devon's all right if you're not from Devon, because you don't have to have spent your childhood in Devon. To give you an idea of what it's like, my parents have got dial-up internet.
What even is that?
It's like the third world, Frank. Now, I don't want to come across as a city slicker here, but I can make a phone call and go on the internet at the same time in my house.
It's amazing. What? It's like James Bond.
And do you know how many children there were in my year at primary school? 4. 2 boys, 2 girls.
4 children in your year?
Yeah, including me.
You should have done so much better in life, shouldn't you? You had that, like, private schooling.
Someone had said to me when I was 11 I'd get to meet Aled Jones and he'd tell me my life wasn't going very well. I'd have snapped their hand off. There's a kind of rivalry as well between Devon and Cornwall over little things where you go... For instance, I don't know if you were to have a cream tea, Frank.
Oh, it just so happened.
Now, which one of those would you choose? Because one is cream over jam.
Yep.
And one is jam over cream.
One is a Devon scone and
one's
one's a Corn.
Devon and the other is completely disgusting and wrong.
Yeah.
I like jam first and then cream on top.
Correct decision, Sarah Cox.
Oh, really?
No, but that's Cornwall.
That's Cornwall.
No, jam on below, cream on the top, that's Devon.
No,
No, that's
Devon
Cornwall.
Devon is definitely the cream on.
So the Cornish are right. I was. This place. To tell you how bad this place is, it's worse than Cornwall.
Yes. This gives me the shudders. I'll tell you what, something happened to me. I was at a cricket match, right? And I was with the wife of quite a high-ranking cricket administrator. I won't say who. And she was a sort of, how can I put it? She was sort of full-figured woman. And they started bringing out the cream teas. And I said, because she was the wife of a cricket administrator, I said, I bet you've had a few cream teas in your time.
Oh, dear.
I meant because her husband was a cricket administrator. And I tried to explain that in a sort of a, you know, people, when they're crying, they don't listen. OK, what's Ruby's wild card?
My mother. As far as eccentrics, this was the A-lister of A-listers. So I'm grateful to her for some of my comedy. We had a dog that she loved, Lumpy, and this is not tasteful. But, you know, when people came over, he would sort of grab their leg, you know, and it would smear them off. But my mother would go, look, the lover boy, he's dancing. And then she'd go at the party, she'd go, Lumpy, say Heil Hitler. And he'd go like this. I mean, oh no, she was way out there. Oh,
to be fair, he was only following orders.
Can I just say... You get fixed on things, like I do now, you know, where it's like a Russian missile just honing in. So she came to England and she said, buy a broom. But then she doesn't stop it, right? So we go to the restaurant, she go, a broom, and with the bristles, not this, with the bristles. And every night she'd draw it in the tablecloth with a knife, with the bristles. It never stopped. So finally I took her to the airport. She's still going, buy a broom. You could see her through the window. And then sits down. As soon as she gets home, about a few days later, she goes, did you get the broom? And then she says, oh, your Aunt Hamburger died. And then she said, now, what about the broom? And I went, wait, what did you just say? And she said, your Aunt Hamburger died. The broom, buy the broom. And I said, what did you say? She went, okay, back the clock up, 24 hours, she's not dead. Now, buy the broom. It's genius. Yeah.
She
was
sounds
fantastic.
marvellous.
Yeah.
My mum used to say, don't put hot tea bags in the bin or you'll set the bin on fire.
The world is such a filthy, suppurating toilet that there's nothing you can do, and you don't need to be marketed some crazy thing that they invented 20 minutes ago when soap and water does a fine job. So it just... Basically, the fact that they're trying to make us buy it, carry it around, I mean, you can put it on your belt loop now, just enrages me, really. And I have 3 little kids, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, so I live in filth. And I don't get any sicker than the next guy. My wife is a teacher, so she's around other scummy children all the time. And it's just silly. I mean, yes, their germs exist, but, you know, I was talking to a doctor friend of mine recently. Usually when we get sick, it's because of just stuff that's inside our own body that decides to present itself. And what are you going to drink the hand sanitizer? So I say no. I'm not saying no to hygiene. I'm saying no to the unnecessary, very recent invention of, like, soap 2 or whatever. It's so silly.
Apparently, your average hand sanitizer is 65% alcohol, which is 3 times more than vodka. Now, I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
It would be safer for me to have human excrement on my hands. And that is certainly the path I've chosen. Then, let's find out what's winding up Russell Kane.
This genuinely wasn't planned. This is one thing I would like to put in room 101 is men who get grumpier with age. What? And I'll tell you why. Not because I've got any problems with these men, although it would be nice to be around men in their 50s, 60s and 70s who are happy all the time. It's just that I think men would be healthier, happier creatures if we weren't so miserable. Most men, not all men, now and again you do see a happy old man, but it becomes like it's something you stop at point at in the street. If you see like a normal wisdom, look at that happy old man, it's amazing. I don't know what the secret is, I've always been like it. Most men are walking along going, why am I alive? And some men, you get so miserable they can only laugh, you know, if they see, I don't know, if they see a car written off on the M25 motorway. Look at the state of that Jaguar, that'll never run again. We live, men of this country, 5 to 7 years less than women. Doesn't happen in every country. And my theory... it's women cheering. My theory is this. We think ourselves to death, yeah? The less happy you are, the less likely you are to live a long and happy life. Lonely people die before... Now, we know that, on the whole, women tend to be, not always, more emotionally connected than men. If they've got a problem, they get their friends over. Hey, I've got Claude over, I've got Tess over. We talked about the problem. There wasn't a solution, but we lit a candle. And do you know what? I feel better just for talking about it. Whereas men...
That's how it works.
Whereas men will be like, I have a problem, I'm going to hold it inside till it's a diamond, then poo it out and die. Right? Now, the evidence is, in cultures like parts of Sicily, Sardinia, Japan, where there are villages where men can't sort of do that isolation thing, I need time on my own, and the houses are full of aunts and grandmas and daughters, the men's mortality rate equalises with the women. We are literally, by being grumpy, thinking ourselves to death. We're going, I'm not going to speak to anyone, heart attack, death at 60, leaving behind a generation of women, relatively young these days, who then have to pretend to grieve. How will I survive without the miserable sod? What a disaster! How will I go on? Without Barry mocking my parking, how will I survive? You can park forever in the crematorium. Goodbye, Barry. End of point.
OK, so what's upsetting Alan?
Advice, Frank, is what I'd like to put in room 101, because I think maybe I'm arrogant, but when people say, I've got some advice for you, I often just think, nah. Don't bother. But a lot of advice is terrible. Like, I think when you tot it up a whole life, there's probably about 3 bits that are any use, and one of them's yellow snow. And the rest of it, I just think, is waffle. Like, just... Bad advice. Friend told me that he was told when he was younger, dress for the job you want, not for the job you've got. Have you heard that? That's apparently business advice. And people think it's good. It's not. He is serving a custodial sentence for repeatedly impersonating a police officer. I think it's bad advice.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever given Alan any advice. Have I?
I don't think so.
Because comedians do, especially, like, you know, elder statesmen comics like myself sometimes. I remember an American comic saying, he said, I'll tell you something about stand-up comedy, and I thought, this could be handy. He said, always take your wallet on stage. Sensible. Yeah. And another guy, an English, he's a magician, actually, and he said to me, tell you some, I was very new. He said, I'll tell you something, Frank. He said, when you get a BMW, and you will, get power-assisted steering. That is the comedy advice that I've had from in my whole career, that's it. What does Adam Hills not like about modern life?
Abs. There's just so much pressure on... You know, there's fit and there's... I just can't do that. When was it important for people to have really finely honed abs? Do you know what I mean? Like all the sex symbols from the 70s, they didn't have abs. Paul Newman and Robert Redford, they didn't have abs. As opposed to Bruce Springsteen, who was photographed on holidays at the age of 62 with abs that no man should have.
Wow, he looks amazing.
No, he doesn't. That's not right.
Isn't it good that people look all ripped?
I'm happy to look good, but there's something about Bruce Springsteen, I think, tipped it for me, because he was the champion of the working class. He was always the, everything's gone wrong and life's tough, and he's just one of the guys at the mill. And now, you don't get abs like that unless you've got someone helping you. Do you know what I mean? You don't get abs like that from just...
Excuse me.
What?
He has done it all himself. He looks magnificent. Unlike you, you're sort of disgusting flavour.
Oh, my God.
Revolting. When did you pose for this? I think that's...
What about... Do you know Darren Lyons? Are you familiar with
Yes.
Darren Lyons? He
Yes.
was on Celebrity Big Brother, and he had...
Oh, yes,
He had work done to give himself a six-pack, but he didn't bother to lose weight. He just had the six-pack sort of put on the top. This is Darren.
Is that true then? Are they implants?
I
Is that
believe
fact?
that they're a sort of a liposuction method,
Well, I mean,
although you
yeah.
can get the same look just by lying face downwards on one of these. OK, so what is Mira's choice?
Overuse of the word like.
They like that.
It drives me nuts. I was sitting behind a couple of young people. I suppose my definition will be anybody under 25. And the conversation went something like, so I was like, no, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, whatever, and I was like, no, and he was like, yeah. And I sat there thinking, I don't actually know what any of that was about. There wasn't any nouns in it. There wasn't any verbs in it, I don't think. It's become this all-purpose filler word, which means nothing. It's robbing us of all our descriptive uses of this beautiful language, which it is. And it makes people sound really thick when they're not.
Oh, you got the crowd on your side.